Hey guys, Xander Holt here, and this is my first video on a series of videos that's going to talk about the essential supplements, the essential nutrients that are important for your body to build the biochemicals necessary to produce rock-hard erections. So we're going to start with testosterone and the essential supplements for that. Now, it's important to know right off the bat that testosterone is very important for rock-hard erections, but it's not the only important biochemical. Not by a long shot. Your body also needs dopamine, it needs oxytocin, it needs nitric oxide, cGMP, all of these things. And we go into those in way more depth in the Rock Hard for Life formula. And another thing we talk a lot about in Rock Hard for Life formula is epigenetic signaling. Doing things that cause the body to send these signals that tell it to produce these biochemicals that produce rock-hard erections. But here's the thing to keep in mind, is that it doesn't matter how many times we signal if your body doesn't have the basic building blocks to build those erection-boosting biochemicals, it can't do it. You know, it's like if I were to hand you an instruction sheet for building this awesome Lego model, and you started building it, but you're missing pieces. Okay, it doesn't matter how many times I keep handing you the instructions, you can't build it because you don't have the Legos. It's the same thing with your body and epigenetic signaling. We can keep sending these signals, but if the body does not have those basic building blocks, it cannot build those erection-boosting biochemicals like we're telling it to. So, how do we do that? Let's start with testosterone. So with testosterone, there's 3 supplements that are really important, okay? And it's vitamin D3-K2. I clumped those together. You'll see why in a moment. Magnesium and zinc. And what we're going to talk about today is D3-K2. Okay, so first of all, 80% of the population is deficient in vitamin D. So you're probably deficient in what is important to know here is that it's not even really a vitamin. Okay, it's a hormone and a hormone precursor. Your entire hormonal system depends upon having enough vitamin D to work. So how do we increase that? Well, the best way to do it is sun on the skin and in the eyes. And I recommend getting at least 20 to 30 minutes of direct sun a day, if at all possible. Even more if you're used to sun exposure. But the thing is as we get older, our skin gets less efficient at turning sunlight into vitamin D, which is another reason why I highly recommend L-Reuteri yogurt. Now, this yogurt greatly increases the collagen in your skin and makes it more efficient to converting into vitamin D. In fact, it's been shown that this yogurt will increase your vitamin D levels by 20 to 25%. Now, I'll post a separate video on this because you have to make it yourself. You can't buy this in the store. And then you have other food sources like oily fish. Salmon in particular is really high in vitamin D. Pasture-raised eggs. Make sure it's pasture-raised. This is great because it contains cholesterol, which your body needs to produce testosterone. Testosterone comes from cholesterol. But it also has vitamin D and K2 in it. And K2 is really important. We'll talk about it in a second. But first, let me talk about this supplement I take. This is Thorne Research brand Vitamin D K2. It's liquid drops. I put 5 drops in water, in my mineralized water. I have a whole separate video on that you can watch. So it's 2,500 international units. You can go anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 international units. I don't take too much of it, because vitamin D is fat soluble and too much of it can actually be toxic or potentially toxic. And it doesn't mean that if you take more of it, you're necessarily going to have more testosterone. You may have less if you get to toxic levels. So make sure you're either taking liquid or gel form when you do it, and make sure it has K2. You don't want pills because it's not as efficient. Liquid or gel. Now, why is K2 so important? K2 is important because another thing vitamin D does is it tells your body to absorb calcium. It helps your body absorb calcium. But it doesn't tell your body where that calcium needs to go. So if you don't have sufficient K2 in your system, sometimes that calcium, vitamin D helps that calcium go into your blood vessels, hardening your arteries, arterial sclerosis, which is the enemy of rock hard erections and your health in general. So you don't want that. K2 tells your body to put that calcium into bones where it belongs. Okay, and another thing vitamin D does is it helps decrease our hip to waist ratio. Means less belly fat, which means overall more free testosterone. And we'll talk about that in a separate video. All right, that's it for this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to our free Facebook group, Rock Hard for Life, where we discuss much more sexually explicit, primal sex topics, and you can ask all your questions there. Until next time, go be a beast.